Hi everybody, welcome to G for G. Today we're here in Warcraft and we're going through the discussion about Nostalrius shutting down. Not so much that Nostalrius is shutting down, it's the fact that Blizzard is shutting it down. That's the problem. So in case you're unaware, Nostalrius is basically, like the name almost implies, a nostalgic server for World of Warcraft that only exists to give you the vanilla experience. Basically, it's of a certain patch level in WoW's history way back in vanilla, where potentially you can relive the opening of the AQ gates, which is nearly impossible to live through again, and 40-man raids, and taking flight pass everywhere, and no flying, and all the joys that come with a nostalgic WoW server. Now, is it possible to exist on a server like that? To go back to the pure, unadulterated, untouched, unblemished, vanilla experience? Well, I think about that a lot. I started playing back in 2004 during the beta. I actually moved into the beta from the Guild Wars beta. And when I first started playing the WoW beta, I was like, well, this isn't nearly as pretty as Guild Wars. However, I like the fact that I could bring my full loadout of abilities with me wherever I went, rather than Guild Wars where it was like, you can bring $5 in your wallet, but I have $100 to my name. Yeah, but you can only bring 5. But I'm going to buy a couch. That's nice. You can only bring $5. Well, shit. That sucks. So, yeah, that was really weird. So I fell in love with WoW back at that time, and then started playing in vanilla, bounced around a little bit. I made a night elf rogue on an alliance based server because that's where I thought some of my UT friends were, and I was like, oh no, that's not really the group. And then I made a dwarf pally to play with the people who I'd been playing UT with and everything like that were actually in my clan, and God, was that so boring back then. I mean, playing a pally consisted of single targeting down mobs for 20 minutes, and then as you ran by people, trying to figure out what was the best buff to give them. And then I decided to roll a Horde Cow Hunter, a Tauren Hunter, and I did it on Bloodhoof. And a lot of my friends followed, and that is where my guild got it started. We have one of the oldest charters on my server, and it dates back to January of 2005. As a matter of fact, it was even actually earlier than that, but the first charter that we had all the way signed bugged out, and it was later known to be the double sign bug, when somebody signs your charter and then happens to sign another one before your guild gets created. So, we're extremely old on the server, and we still exist. We're still alive today. But can you really go back to the pure vanilla experience? And how good is it that Blizzard is taking action against the server? Well, before a discussion on WoW itself, let's discuss the fact that Blizzard is trying to pull this shit. That Blizzard is trying to be Metallica and fucking Lars going after Napster, that little monkey that he was, and the hate, the raw vitriol that was spewed towards Metallica at the time. Well, that's what Blizzard's kind of doing. Honestly, I think this is so bad of a move by Blizzard right now to pick this fight. I think it is an awful move for them. I mean, sure, Blizzard is really getting it done with Hearthstone. They're getting it done with Heroes of the Storm. Overwatch has people hyped to shit. We can't wait. We're salivating to play Overwatch. And the thing is, we know it's good. This isn't like, oh, it's it's going to be Aliens versus Predator, and oh my god, this is shit. No, like, we know it's going to be good, and we're waiting. And we want it. I want it. The girlfriend wants it. Former UT vets want it. Other people who've never really played an FPS before are considering it. And, you know, the Blizzard tie-ins with Tracer and Diablo and StarCraft and all that, they do that so well. I don't think Blizzard should be taking this fight, because they're not doing it right in World of Warcraft right now. They didn't learn their lesson from Mists of Pandaria. You can't give people this fucking long of a time with no raid content. Legion is not until maybe September. September at the latest. Maybe we'll get it in June. Maybe we'll get it in July. I don't know. Beta's going along pretty well from what I know. There was already like a speed run competition a few months ago and everything like that. But, you know, it's Legion hopefully brings life back into WoW. They better do it right in Legion, because if they fuck it up like Pandaria and Warlords, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So maybe Blizzard on the whole is doing well. They're not doing it well when it comes to WoW. People are leaving WoW in droves. They don't want to publish the numbers now. Is this such a good idea to take this fight and look like an ugly set of corporate greedy bastards? If they're maybe intending to do this on their own, maybe they want to do an expansion lock server officially on official hardware and everything. Maybe. You know, they've done it before. They've grabbed add-ons out there in the world and they've made it their own, like scrolling combat text and some raid mods, and, you know, grid is built into the game now, and you know, all these amazing things. Dungeon Journal, which probably had its roots in things like maybe quest logs and whatnot. But even if they do, and this is a preemptive step so that they are the only ones who can provide it, I think it would be good if they did a vanilla lock server and maybe a wrath locked server. Cataclysm changes the world. So, like, stopping at Cataclysm or Pandaria I don't think would be popular, but Wrath and Vanilla could be good stopping points if they did it. You know, Wrath before the great sundering that was Cata, and then Vanilla to get that, just that raw, untouched game. So, this is just a fight Blizzard shouldn't take. They really shouldn't be doing this, because this is going to make them look bad. And I think people will find this is just aggressive and greedy. And why? Like, why do this? That's at least my opinion on them actually trying it. But now for the server itself. Let us discuss a vanilla lock server. I mean, kudos to Nostalrius for doing what seems like a very, very legit server. They said they're protecting against bots and hacks, and you know, there's like a dedicated dev team to it, and the numbers seem huge. But like, what Blizzard has to consider is, does this take away from them in some way, shape, or form? Is there a reason why a server like this can't exist? It's not taking anything away from them to have it exist, again, unless they plan on doing it. So, you know, the vanilla experience, can it be done? Does anybody, I mean, obviously, what, like 13,000 people are doing it? But can you really go back again? I mean, is it possible to go back to vanilla WoW and really, really enjoy it? I have incredible nostalgia for vanilla WoW. And no game has done that since. No expansion has done that since, other than maybe a little bit the mop beta. The mop beta was like, wow, this is unreal. I have never seen anything like this in WoW, but vanilla WoW hit me on levels that nothing ever has and nothing could ever have. Because it was the first time for me. It was my first MMO, and I was, huge Ultima fan when I was growing up as a kid on my Commodore, and I kind of steered clear of Ultima Online because I heard you could, install the game and log in, and a fucking German Shepherd could kill you in the first 5 minutes, and then Joe Billy Bob could come by and steal your sword and your gold while your corpse just rots there as you try to get back to it, and then a sheep comes up and rapes you and murders your family. And so, WoW was my first MMO, other than the Guild Wars beta. And there was something so enchanting about hitting the Barrens at 10, 12, and, coming into the Barrens from Mulgore and seeing those Thunder Lizards for the first time. And being like, holy shit, this thing's gonna kick my ass. And the music, I remember what the music was like when I crested the hill going into Desolus for the first time. And the music in the Barrens, that orc, ha. When I had the music really up in the game, and to me, it's like Wrath has a big soundtrack that means something to me, and Vanilla has a big soundtrack that means something to me. There's so many things that have occurred since Vanilla that are quality of life items when it comes to the game, and not the least of which I think is, LFR and LFG. Trying to get everybody to get out to Mordon, fly everybody out as Horde and get them all over to Skullomance and Stratholme, and it's just crazy stuff. And what it was like to go through BRD for the first time, where it was so convoluted and it wrapped on itself. And original Sunken Temple with the basement quests and trying to do those statues in a certain order. And does anybody remember? And I was really good with Wailing Caverns, but everybody used to get lost in Wailing Caverns or fail the jump. First time my hunter ever went to Wailing Caverns, I failed to get that jump. I got lost. I was so embarrassed I left the group. I don't think I could actively do a nostalgia server for long periods of time. It's the older leveling. My first WoW character, my hunter, was 23 days to 60. My last vanilla character, my warlock, was 13 days. That seems like a lifetime by today's modern age of RPGs. And the raids, 40-man raids, 40-man Molten Core. What happened in 40-man Molten Core? You had 8 mages. One of them was on AFK. Was sitting there AFK. You had 7 rogues, 2 of which had somebody on follow and were stealth. 3 idiots always blow up your raid from the Geddon Bomb. Somebody falls into lava. You gotta summon them out. If you're on a PvP server, you're getting your ass kicked at the, at the entrance. I honestly don't know that I could go back again and just isolate myself on a vanilla server. Who is the kind of person that would play on a vanilla server? Well, somebody who became so disenchanted with WoW after TBC and vanilla, they probably can. Somebody who maybe left WoW behind after vanilla and hasn't really experienced the change of life in World of Warcraft since vanilla and all the things that we've got. It's not like you could transfer a tune over there. It's not like you can level one over here and send it back. And I mean, yeah, I was never a big Alterac Valley person. That's big for a lot of people. PvPers want old Alterac Valley. The kind where you log out and you eat dinner and you go to sleep and you go to work the next day and you raise a kid to college age and you get old and you're just on your deathbed and you log back in and it's the same fucking match. Those things are big, and maybe able to do old quests again, like Rockdalar for the hunter and Benediction for priests, and see original Dire Maul and all those quests and everything. Yeah, maybe you could do it, but I think anybody who's played so actively all the way up to Warlords might find it really hard to just sit back on a vanilla server again. And let me tell you, the vanilla WoW and that environment was broken as hell. You were not meant to fly. You were not meant to see those places. You look at textures from vanilla WoW. I mean, I have several exploration videos of WoW up on my channel, and you can find them where back in Wrath, I would exploit a druid bug and fly in vanilla. The world was not meant to be viewed from above back then. The devs were just lazy. The art department was lazy. Cliffs just drop off in sheer flat surfaces. Textures are not there. Original AQ looks like the asteroid belt from Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it's just like broken and, you know, like an obliterated outworld. And yeah, I would love to be able to do some of the old exploration glitches again, like dive through the dead mines and appear in original Hellfire. Glitch into the Emerald Dream, which has existed in the game, believe it or not, since vanilla. The Emerald Dream has been around that long. Caverns of Time, glitching into the Caverns of Time in its existing state would be incredible. Maybe you can even get into the Karazhan Crypt if you could back then. I don't really recall, but minus those things, Garrosh, I gotta tell you about your future, Garrosh. I gotta tell you about your kids, Marty. The day that I go back, you turn into a dick.
You've made a wise decision to join my...
Yeah, Garrosh, you're kind of an asshole. So, anyway, I don't know. I don't really know if I could do it and just how much. Obviously, 13,000 people are doing it. That's a lot. And to sum up the Blizzard part of it, I just really don't think this is a battle they should be fighting. I don't think it affects them. You know, it's like somebody sneezing in a hut in Slovakia. And I live in the United States. Like, so what? The ripple effect, the butterfly effect doesn't mean anything. And why now? Why do this now for something you've probably known about for a long time? Maybe even a dev has sent a character over there to check it out. Unless they really do have a plan to do this themselves and make expansion lock servers for nostalgic people, I just don't get why they're doing this. It makes no sense, and I think it's bad press at a time where maybe the company can stomach bad press, but I don't think WoW can stomach bad press right now. People are bored. They're leaving in droves. Did they think maybe people won't leave? Did they think we're losing people and they're going over to a vanilla lock server to enjoy good old times? I don't know. I just think this is an incredibly horrible decision on their part. And my thoughts on a vanilla lock server, I don't think I could go back again. I maybe could for a tiny bit of time, and then I'd be like, okay, that was fun. I'm done now. And now I'm just going to go back into sitting in my antisocial garrison and farmvilling all the fucking day or something. But, you know, I could only do it, honestly, in a limited quality because that magic is gone. And I read an article about this one time where the author went back and played on one of these locked servers like this. And he was like, it was nice to revisit a memory, but that's what it should be. A memory, not an active lifestyle. You know, I would love to see maybe like old Org again and how it was, and maybe do a comparison video on the channel like Org then, Org now. That would interest me, you know, but it's like visiting a town you used to live in that you left for a reason. It's nice. I remember this street. I remember this restaurant. Oh, that bar obviously burnt down. That hotel looks like it's nicer. Okay, I'm going back home now. So that's kind of my feelings on that. I think it's a shame that it's getting shut down. I think Blizzard should not attempt to do this. I feel bad for them and the fact that I don't really think they have much of a leg that they can stand on to fight this off. So this is pretty much an inevitability at this point. Legion is coming out shortly before Final Fantasy XVI's date is listed. You need to do everything right, Blizzard. You need to get people into Legion and give them the expansion that they have been hoping for the last 2 expansions, and fucking do it right. Otherwise, people are just gonna bleed out again, and I don't think WoW can really handle that. So, thanks for checking this out, guys. Hope you didn't find it too annoying or too big of a rant. It's just WoW is something that is definitely near and dear to me, and yeah, I did have an opinion on this situation. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Make yourself comfortable.